Hey friends, Kenji here with a deck tech for a standard deck that I've really been enjoying lately on the MTG Arena ladder, and that is Nexus Gates. It kind of combines two different decks into one. On one hand, you have the Guildgate deck, which is a popular deck that has been making its rounds in Constructed, and then you have the Nexus of Fates deck, which, it also has a ton of different shells. So this time you kind of combined both of those decks, and well, this is what you get. A full 19 Guildgates are playing in this deck, and you kind of get a few payoffs here. You both get Gates Ablaze, which acts as a good, cheap mass removal spell. Then you also get the Guild Summit, which can refill your hand and whatnot. Big cards like Hydroid Krasis can win the game, but more often than not in game one, you get Wilderness Reclamation going, Nexus of Fate looping, and then you Expansion Explosion your opponent out for upwards of however much damage you really want. Now, notably, Nexus of Fate is banned in Best of 1 on Magic Arena, but it is not banned in Best of 3. Personally, I don't like that decision. I think that if they were going to ban it, they should just ban it across the board, but it makes sense that decks that have Nexus of Fate in them are much more susceptible to interaction, after you get sideboarding and whatnot. So this is what the deck looks like. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm going to play a quick match, but just a quick little deck tech here on the Nexus Gates deck. So let's take a look at how it runs. Alrighty, here we are for our match, best of 3 match with this Nexus Gates deck. Won the die roll, and we are going to opt to play first, and our hand is a nice one. We have a turn 2 Growth Spiral, which gets us back from being behind in the deck, since most of your deck lands enter the battlefield tapped. Gates Ablaze for an aggro deck, and then the double Wilderness Reclamation is going to be really good if we can find, not Hydroid Krasis, Expansion Explosion, or a Nexus of Fates. And so in this deck, you always want to lead, or at least this particular version of the deck, you always want to lead on a blue Guildgate first, because there are Opt in the deck. And so that lets you cast Opt on turn 2, even if you have another Guildgate. Alright. We did hit another untapped land, though, which means would have been able to cast out a turn 3 Wilderness Reclamation had I gone for it. Looks like we're playing against the Mirror match. Opponent also playing the Gate deck, so this should be an interesting one. Wouldn't be surprised if they also have a Growth Spiral in their hand. Yeah, for sure. So we're looking for Guild Summit, Hydroid Krasis, and some other good ones, but double Wilderness Reclamation should be pretty solid if I can start drawing the important cards. Unfortunately, Hydroid Krasis does not benefit off of the Wilderness Reclamation. Opponent has the Guild Summit, though. So they are going to start beating me down in card advantage, because every land they play, or effectively every land they play now, is going to draw them extra cards. Ooh, but we did find the Nexus. So, let's see here. I'm going to put a stop on my end of turn, and I think we're going to play the Reclamation first here. Go to end of turn. Float some manas, resolve the first trigger, go ahead and cast the Nexus out. And now take my extra turn. And now we are going to put an stop on my end step, play the Guildgate, play Hydroid Krasis for 4. Hopefully hit a Nexus here, or an Expansion Explosion. Haha! And we did, like a lucky Saki. So now we resolve that trigger, cast Nexus, take an extra turn after this one, draw a card. Oh my god, we hit the Nexus again. Attack for 4. I mean, I can see why this card was banned, understandably, but it's kind of funny that we are drawing so well here. And this time we can cast a Krasis for 5. Alright, play land, go to end step, untap my lands, resolve that. We're just looking for Expansion Explosion now. If we draw Expansion Explosion, we win the game on the spot. But looks like the opponent's had enough. We drew very, very hot there, for the record. Normally, that doesn't happen, especially with that many cards left in my deck, but it worked out there. Okay, in this particular matchup, I think we actually want to leave the Nexus of Fate package in. Now, normally, a lot of the time, what you end up doing is cutting the Nexus of Fate package and just bringing in like the Gatebreaker Rams to kill your opponent out of nowhere real fast. But truthfully, I don't even know if they're on the Nexus of Fate package or if they're just playing the Gate deck. All I know is that I want to bring in the 4 negates. And in this matchup, the Lava Coils are normally dead, as are the Gates Ablazes. So I think I can probably find room for 2 Gatebreaker Rams. But otherwise, I think we're going to leave the deck the same. That's funny that we play a Gate Mirror match in our only match here. All right. Looks like they ended their sideboarding quickly too. Again, we don't know what they're playing besides Gates. They could very well be playing the same deck I am. So they went on the play, and I have a 1-lander, unfortunately. I'm going to have to ship that down to 6. Oof. Another 1-lander. So we're going to go to 5 here. Looks like our opponent also went to a mulligan to 5. They kept their 5. I mean, I guess I keep and pray at this point. We do have a negate in our hand, which is good, but... Alright, and we did hit another land on top. Nice. This is going to be a weird game as both players are stuck on some mulligans here. Hopefully they don't have an untapped island into a guild gate. Or into a guild summit. But they do have a ram. And honestly, that's probably just going to kill me. Unless I get lucky and hit an untapped land next turn, I don't think our odds are very high. Looks like they played a breeding pool untapped. And just passed the turn, which tells me that they also have a negate in their hand. Or some kind of counter. Aha! So Chemister's Insight is a good sign that they are indeed playing the... Nexus deck? Well, that's not true. I should take that back. But a lot of the decks that I've seen that run Chemister's Insight are the Nexus deck. Oof, and they found a Guild Summit. Looks like they tapped a little bit incorrectly there. They left up their Plaza of Harmony so they don't actually get to draw an extra card. If I draw an untapped land here, darn. If I got to draw an untapped land there and go circuitous route, we probably just win the game, but... As it stands now, we're probably super far behind. Yeah. Because now their ram can attack into mine. They can just pass the turn here. We did draw a gate, though, which is good. So now I can attack. It's possible that they have a growth spiral in hand, but... I mean, if they're not going to do anything, that's good for us. We'll just pass. And I think I probably end up copying their Chemister's Insight with Expansion Explosion if they cast one here, right? Maybe not. Maybe I just let this resolve. Alright, they're running Gate Colossus. Copy, counter, or pass. Decisions. I think I'll just copy it. And wow, didn't draw any more land. Huh. Okay. Again, presumably they're going to play another gate here, which lets their ram attack into mine if they want. So I have 2 separate triggers. The Gate Colossus that's going to go back on top of their library, and the Guild Summit, which is going to let them draw it immediately. Circuitous route. They're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gates, so then they can cast the Colossus as well. And it looks like this game is over for us. Both players mulligan to 5, but they had the Guild Summit and Circuitous route, so no dice here from us. But they're passing. Huh. So I'm guessing they do have a negate in their hand. But not really much I can do about that right now. And we'll just go to a game 3. Could try to out-ram them, I suppose. It isn't impossible, but I think I like the combo package. I think both players just mulliganed to 5 and they had a slightly better hand, so... Let's go to game 3. Nexus Gates versus just regular Gates. And we will definitely choose to play first. Our hand looks great. Get a lead with a Guild Gate into land Guild Summit. Hopefully we can find another land in the first few draws. We did not find a land there. That's a Nexus of Fate. And they play a gate. That is also not a land, but it is an untapped land, so that means that if I get to resolve Circuitous Route next turn, we're still going to get to draw 2 cards while also ramping 2. Notably, the opponent does not have blue mana. Nice. Okay, so we get to go Forest Circuitous Route while the opponent doesn't have blue mana. Go get ourselves a Izzet Guild Gate and a Simic Guild Gate, ramping me by 2 and drawing me 2 cards. Now we are well on our way to really just going off. If the opponent has a removal spell, they might be forced to kill my Guild Summit here instead of doing anything else. Nope, they're going to play their own. Okay. This favors us since we're already so far ahead from the opponent. Really just need to find like a Wilderness Reclamation now, and we'll be good to go. So let's start off with a Gruul Guild Gate. And then we want to play Growth Spiral here, because this gives me 2 draws at finding a Wilderness Reclamation, which we did just hit, and they scooped. All right, so what was going to happen there is I was going to draw a card off the Growth Spiral, which happened to be the Wilderness Reclamation. The Growth Spiral was going to let me put a land from my hand on the battlefield, which is going to be the Izzet Guild Gate. The Izzet Guild Gate was going to draw me a card thanks to Guild Summit. I was going to play the Reclamation, untap all my lands, and end of turn cast Nexus of Fate. Yeah, and you could see what was going on from there, because we had 2 more Circuitous Routes in hand, and then we were going to like Expansion Explosion out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that look at the Nexus Gates deck. It's a fun one. It's a sweet little deck tech. I'm hoping to do some more deck techs like this in the near future. And if you guys are interested in getting this deck list, I will post it down below in the information section of the video. Otherwise, don't forget to catch me on my stream every weekday over at twitch.tv/NumotTheNummy. And don't forget to check out all our other content here on my YouTube page. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you guys next time.